Hello. If you want to start using the web client, there are some prerequisites that you should know. Your SAP Business One must be in version 10. If you are not sure which version your company has, you can go up in your menu, select Help, and then About SAP Business One. Here you can see the version. And if you are not in version 10, you need to upgrade. And you can send us an email and we can plan your upgrade with you. You don't need to buy an additional license. This is just a different way to access SAP Business One. You need your SAP license to connect. The web client components are included in all SAP Business One 10 installations. And if you don't have it and are using SAP Business One 10, please contact our technical team. The installation time can take around 1 consulting hour. The reverse proxy, this is optional, but necessary for remote access. This is included for Consensus Cloud customers and system hosted with Slash Consulting. And for dedicated environment and on-premise deployment, please contact our technical team for installation. The installation time typically takes around 4 consulting hours. But if you want these, you will need a reverse proxy server, a third-party certificate, a domain name system, a network address translation. But remember, if you're hosted in Consensus Cloud or Slash, all the above prerequisites are included. And you can ask, what is a reverse proxy server, Marisol? So, a proxy server is a system or router that provides a gateway between users and the internet. So it helps prevent cyber attackers from entering your private network. It is a server referred to as an intermediary. So in few words, a reverse proxy intercepts traffic that requests access to resources on your private network. And I want to mention this prior to any setup. Please contact Consensus Technical Support to review a specific requirement for your system. Also, I want you to recommend some web browsers. You just need to click the URL provided with us. And for an optimized user experience, please launch web client in either a desktop computer using one of the following web browsers: Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, or Apple Safari for those who have Mac. And this is a summary of the technical prerequisites. You are running in SAP Business One version 10. You are a licensed SAP Business One user, web client installed and running. And if you want to access from outside of your local network, you will need a reverse proxy server, purchase a third-party SSL certificate, and if you're hosted in Consensus Cloud or Slash, you don't need that. A domain name system and a network address translation.
Before demoing the day-to-day operations of a sales employee, let's first confirm that we have accessed the appropriate areas of the web client to perform our role. By navigating to Main Menu, we can expand the Sales module and confirm that we have access to the appropriate documents and forms. Once on My Home, we can also confirm that we have the appropriate access under the Sales area. Above, you can see these areas are broken down into different modules or categories. By clicking on them, it will navigate you to that area without scrolling. Since few of these do not apply to the sales employee role, let's go ahead and remove these from our view. By clicking on my profile, Edit Homepage, I now have control to edit and hide those that I don't want to see. Let's hide Accounting, HR, and Production. I scrolled to find the first two, but now I wish to click above and navigate here quicker. Once ready, I will close, and these changes have now taken effect, and now I'm ready with a more useful setup that's more relevant to my role. In the case that you accidentally hid something that you wish to get back, we can just as easily do this. Let's go back to my profile, Edit Homepage, and I'm looking for the CRM area because I know that's relevant to my role. And we can do the same thing, but click on Show this time and close. So now my home is prepared well and I'm ready to get started. To begin the sales process, a customer calls me and places an order for a printer. I navigate to the sales tiles and click on Create Sales Quotation to open a sales quotation already in ad mode. Since it's in open status, we can go ahead and click on these squares to provide a drop-down list. Let's enter the customer's name, because I don't recall the code, but I do recall their last name. Next, let's click the squares for the drop-down of sales employees to ensure that they get commission for the sale if this continues on throughout the sales process and becomes an actual order. Let's now select the item that we are selling. Again, if you don't recall the actual code, type in any part of the item description and find it that way. Another tip to ensure that you find the correct item is to go over here and enable an additional column. To ensure that I'm not selecting an inactive item, I'm going to select this column and make it visible here. I can now see all these printers are still active and being sold, so this helps my selection. After validating the sales information that populates, I can click on the next tab and finish prepping this sales quotation with the shipping information, validating the payment terms, and even adding an attachment if we want to share this on the quote. If this looks to your liking, you can press Add in View to keep this open after adding. If there's any questions after adding it, it's still in open status, and I can even click on the golden arrows here to provide more information about this item. If I have any further questions, I can click View More, and it opens up the link to the associated item master data record in another tab so that you don't lose your work on the sales quotation. After the sales quotation has been added and given to the customer, we await their feedback to confirm if they want to place an order. The customer then emails us confirming this, and they wish to purchase an additional printer. Let's navigate to the sales tiles, sales quotations. From here, it provides a list of all sales quotations that were added in the system. I want to narrow this down, so I go to the view that returns only my sales quotations. This is a much more manageable list, and I can more easily find the sales quotation we created. I can select it here, and then I can press Copy to Sales Order, which will then pull the information from our sales quote over to a sales order. I can do this another way by going back to the same screen. This time, I'll click on this sales quotation. At this point, I may want to go through, validate the information, and then I can copy to sales order. So now that we're at the sales order stage, we need to specify the delivery date, and we need to add that additional item. By clicking in those squares, we can now find another printer. Before I search for the printer, I want to eliminate the option of finding results that have 0 in stock. Let's click on the in stock filter, and let's set this so that in stock is not equal to 0. Now, let's go ahead and search for the printer, part of the item description. And now we only have printers that are in stock and ready to sell. Let's choose the second item and validate the pricing information that pulls in. We confirmed with the customer that nothing else needs to change from the sales quotation, so we are good to add and view this document. The next step in the sales process is to create the delivery. When the goods are shipped to the customer, we can go to the sales tile and find the delivery. We can create a new delivery and absorb the sales orders into it, or we can start with the sales order and we can copy to delivery. Since we've worked with the tiles a good bit, let's go back to the home and let's use our main menu for this. Let's open the sales module and create delivery. In the case that there are many sales orders for the same customer going out on the same shipment, we can start this way and pull the associated sales orders into it. First, let's select the customer. Let's sort by ascending and find Al Flanders. At the top, we can then copy from sales orders. From here, we can select both sales orders for Al Flanders and select. If there's any discrepancies between the two documents, it may provide a pop-up confirming which documents had information you'd like to take on. Let's confirm that the information is correct based off of what was shipped to the customer. If correct, we can press Add and View. SAP will prompt us that we cannot change this document, and we will say yes, and it will present the added version here up on our screen. We now wait for the goods to be delivered to the customer. We will be working with other documents in the meantime. So one cool thing I want to showcase is these arrows up above that make it very, very easy to navigate through other deliveries in the system. This will take us to the very first delivery. This will take us to the last. And these buttons will take us back or forward one record at a time. Going to our last record, we can see the delivery we just added for Al Flanders. And now we will wait and create our invoice next. To conclude the sales process, let's add the accounts receivable invoice to request payment from the customer. We will navigate to the delivery document and copy to the AR invoice. There are a few different ways to do that, and let's provide a brief recap. We can navigate to the main menu, Sales module, and click on Deliveries. Once here, this provides a lot of information, so I would like to just see my open deliveries, so we can use this view. The reason the other view was the default was because under the Manage button, it was set to be default. Let's change it to only show ours as the default. Navigating back to the home, the second option is to click on the delivery tile. The view we just selected now saves, so now it shows our delivery here. Lastly, another option to navigate to the delivery document is up in our profile. Under Frequently Used, you can see that we've accessed delivery documents recently. Although this is not the correct one, we can very easily use the arrows to navigate, going to the last one in this case, and finding our delivery. We can then copy to AR invoice. Since this document cannot be edited once added, let's do a thorough run through and make sure everything is correct. One area for improvement I see is aesthetically, I think this item would look better moved to the very bottom when we print out this layout or email it to the customer. Let's continue on. Once everything is confirmed, we can add and view, keeping it open, saying yes to the prompt, and our document is now successfully added, and it's in open status, and it will remain there until the incoming payment is applied. To conclude the sales process, we can click on the relationship map option and see a high-level overview of all the documents that were added throughout the sales process. The relationship map is very helpful as it provides a link. You can click on the documents and go back to a past one to analyze it. Again, this opens in a new tab so you don't lose your place. You can see the links, and you can very clearly see that there were initially 2 sales quotations, 2 sales orders absorbed into 1 delivery and 1 AR invoice.
Hello, my name's Michael, and I'm a processing manager for OEC computers. In my day-to-day work, I use the SAP web client to manage all my tasks. This is my home screen, where I can create and manage all the documents I need. When I need to create a purchase order, the process is quite simple. I start by selecting the option Create Purchase Order. The first thing I do is choose the vendor from the list of business partners. In this case, I'll create a purchase order for Tama. I make sure the delivery date is accurate and meets our requirements. I'm going to update it to September 2nd. I ensure that the buyer is correct. I'll select James. Now, I can enter the list of items I need to purchase. I can easily select more than one. In here, I can update the quantity as I require. If I need to update the price, I can do so. I can confirm the applicable taxes and validate the warehouse where the product will be received. If there are any shipping charges, I can record them in the designated section. Finally, I review all the information to ensure everything is correct, including the delivery address, accounting details, and if necessary, I can add an attachment from the relevant section. I can also update any user-defined field that I have to. Once I've confirmed all the information, the purchase order is ready to be processed. Once the order is created, I can easily print it out and send it to the vendor. When it's time to receive the product from the supplier, the process is straightforward. First, I need to access the purchase order in the system and locate the one from the supplier. In here, I will see all the open POs. I need to find the one that I'm going to receive. In this case, the 2003. I can access its details using the Detail button. I can confirm the information from the PO. Once I have confirmed, I will go to the Copy To button and select Good Receipt PO. This will copy all the information from the previous PO. In here, I can add a remark if I have to, validate and confirm the items and quantities that I'm receiving, and I can also add any additional information. If I need to add attachments or fill in any user-defined fields. After this final review, I can add the Good Receipt PO. Once I'm ready to create the AP invoice, the process is straightforward and quick. First, I go to the Good Receipt PO option. Here, I can filter by supplier or by document number. Once I have identified the required document, I can access its detail using the Details button. In here, I can review and confirm the information. Then, I will click the Copy To button and select AP Invoice. This will copy all the data to a new AP invoice. In here, I only have to validate all the information. After this final review, the invoice is ready to be created. Once it's created, I can access the relationship map. In here, I can have a view of all the documents that are part of this flow, and I can access any of them through this option. The web client also supports my decision making as a manager. To do this, I navigate to the Analytics section, where I have several options. For example, I can access Purchase Analysis by Document. This is an overview of the information of all the documents. I can also access the vendor balances and have a look of how we are doing with our payables. Also, I can access Purchase Analysis by row. This will give me information regarding of how we are purchasing our items. Each of these tools provide me with key information for decision making and taking action at the correct time.
Hello, I'm Andrés. In this session, I'm going to show you how to using SAP Web Client, I can see what is happening in my company. After I enter to my SAP Web Client, I see my main screen. Then I click to my quick overview tile, and this is my main dashboard. I adjusted the standard dashboard with the needs of my company. And this dashboard has three main areas: sales, items, and purchasing and inventory. The sales area includes revenue analysis, gross profits, and open opportunities. The purchasing area includes the top 20 items analysis in table mode and order analytics in chart mode. I can select any of the charts and see more details. From here, I can change the chart mode or see the information in a table mode. I can share this report by email. I can go back to my main dashboard, going to the top arrow and click again. This is a quick overview of the dashboards using SAP Web Client. Sometimes I need to adjust the date filtering or the time frame of the report. Let me show you how I do it. As you see on top of the tile, the name is Quick Overview 100D. That means 100 days. I can modify the time frame to the desired report. If I click in my tile, I'm going to see the list of my reports. I can modify the date or the number of days, clicking this desired report, and then clicking at the posting date at the two squares, and again here at the posting date options, I can click at the day range, last X days, and I can type here 50. Then I click OK and go. That runs the report taking into account 50 days. Anytime that you want to modify that information or filter, you can go to date range and pick the option that you want. As you see, the system is going to show you the report with the specific days, weeks you picked. Every month during the management team meeting, I use a dynamic dashboard to lead the meeting. This sales KPI shows online the status of the sales, but when I click on it, a full dashboard is open. With the team, we discuss about the sales status, comparing the current sales versus previous years, sales totals, sales and profit by month, top 20 items sold, etc. During the last meeting, we were discussing about several returns we had recently. So we want to analyze that. To do that, I go to the filter area, go to the document type display name, and switch the AR invoices to returns. Then I go to the posting date and pick this year. After that, I click in Go. The dashboard shows information desired, and I can see what happened during the past quarters and which items were returned. Sometimes I need additional reports, so I use my views, my predefined dashboards, and show me the specific information I predefine. With the SAP Web Client, I build dynamic dashboards and helps me to run my business better.